Destiny 2 has lost the trust of its players is a new article that just dropped from Paul Tassi, a writer for Forbes, and in this article, he details how Bungie over the last few months has allowed so many bugs to happen in this game that players have really lost their trust for all the different systems inside Destiny 2. I recently made a video talking about this, saying D2 has way too many bugs, but I wanted to read through this with you as well because I think that he actually touches on a lot of really good points. I'm sorry, but this just has gotten ridiculous, is how he starts it. Late yesterday afternoon, after yet again a lot of fan theorizing, Bungie confirmed that at least part of the central mechanic that Destiny 2's entire Revenant episode is based around is not working. And so we talked about this tweet right here from Bungie Help, where they say they've identified an issue where Tomb of Elder tonics are not increasing chances for specific weapons as expected. Now, this was all discovered because of players in the game, on Reddit particularly, going through and testing this very thoroughly, right? They're doing the playtesting that Bungie should be doing before introducing this new tonic system into the game. However, what I was mentioning before is that it feels like Bungie isn't even doing much playtesting anymore. They're kind of just letting the community find all the bugs and glitches and then fixing them afterwards, which sometimes could be okay, I guess, if they can have a really fast turnaround time, but other times, like we've seen with Tether, is still not fixed and is aimed to be fixed in like mid-January. So Tether is disabled in the new dungeon because it's bugged, and it's still not going to be fixed for a very long time, which is very frustrating. So if Bungie has a slow turnaround time, this is especially painful, but that's not the only problem. Let's get into all of it here. These are tonics that are meant to work as temporary weapon focusing buffs to target farm weapons that you want. Destiny 2 players have wondered from the start if these have been working right, with the latest theory being that they might even be focusing a different weapon than what they say, which is what they were theorizing initially, which is that if you took one, it would actually give you the weapon to the right of it, and there was a lot of evidence to show that, but I think at this point in time right now it's just random or not working at all. But they might just not be working at all. I'm not even sure if this is saying that the tonics on the Tomb of Elders page don't work right, or all tonics just don't work right in Tomb of Elders. I have a hard time believing any of them work as intended, which is kind of where we're at right now with all the different systems that Bungie introduces. We're kind of left to be very skeptical, like, is this actually going to be working right? Like, at this point in time, every new thing that Bungie comes out with is going to be thoroughly tested by the community to verify its integrity. And if they continue to do this time and time again, they're really going to lose the trust of the community even more if they haven't already lost it to such a high degree. But at this point, it is now impossible to believe that anything in the game works as stated. I agree. Destiny 2 has lost the trust of its players, with this happening just too many times. And not just too many times, but too many times within such a short period of time. You know, we want to have something like this happening maybe every few years, could be understandable. You know, things slip through the cracks. You know, Bungie's not going to be able to make the game perfect or without error. But when you have multiple iterations of this happening within such a short period of time, it really compounds the issue. It makes it feel like Bungie is really not giving the QA that's necessary for Destiny 2 right now. The other bigger example of this was Weightgate, the revelation again found by players that certain perk pairings were close to impossible to get due to how perks were arranged in the API. Eventually, Bungie acknowledged this issue, fixed it supposedly, and offered some god rolls as compensation, which I think was a good way to handle that. Obviously, they needed to fix it and they wanted to compensate us. This was a bug that appears to have been in existence for years, which is a really crazy thing to think about when you look back at all the times you grinded for god rolls. That's potentially hundreds of hours of farming loot system that was broken at its core. True, and this has been such a frustrating thing. We've made a bunch of videos talking about this, so I don't want to beat a dead horse anymore with this, because I do think that, you know, we've already talked this into the ground, but it is definitely frustrating. And then to have another big flaw in the game found shortly after Weightgate is even more frustrating. The notion after that was that there would be conspiracies lurking around every corner if things were actually working as intended or not. And even if the tonic issue started out as a theory and sounded a bit paranoid, guess what? It was true, they're broken. Which was crazy to me. People brought this to my attention several days ago. They were talking about a Reddit post, talking about how they were testing things and that it seemed like there were some issues with the tonics. I wanted to dive deeper into it and to get into it, but when I actually clicked on the Reddit post, it was like taken down. I'm not sure if it was removed by the moderators. I don't know what was going on with it. So at that point in time, I just kind of put it on the back burner. I was like, we'll see what happens with this issue, and apparently it's true. So much is broken. My main character, my warlock, has been unable to brew tonics since essentially week 1 of the season, almost 8 weeks ago now, which is crazy to think about. They can't even have access to the entire new system that Bungie created. And this isn't just for your alternate characters, like it's bugged for mine. This can also happen on just all of your characters. Some people are completely barred from even using the new tonic system. I have directly worked with Bungie on getting this fixed, and it still isn't, despite their efforts. So he even has connections within Bungie, and he's working with some of the devs closely, and they're still unable to get this fixed in a timely manner. Like we talked about, if Bungie wants to just throw some stuff into the game and let the players be the playtesters and find all the problems and upload videos about it, and then they fix it, I mean, that's not the best way of doing things, one, but if that's the way you're going to do it, at least be able to fix things fast, right? Like, you don't want that to be like on 8 weeks now, 8 weeks where people are being locked out of tonics. I have friends where this has happened to on their only character. Yes, this is a real thing. If they only have one character, then and they're blocked out from using tonics, they just don't get access to it. You pay for this content, don't even get access to it. So they barely engage with the season at all. Also yesterday, it was announced that a super disabled in the recent dungeon has a mid-January target for a fix. Progress crawls for many of these issues. So it's a mid-January fix for Tether in the newest dungeon inside Destiny 2. So a very, very long time just to get a fix for that. You literally can't use the super at this point in time. While Destiny has always dealt with bugs, this is untenable. We cannot trust any internal system is not bugged in some way against players. We cannot play new content without some game-breaking bug or another affecting at least some measure of players. This is true, and there always have been bugs in Destiny 2. It just feels like, especially recently, it's getting worse, and I'm not sure if it's just because there's so much to the game right now. There's so many moving parts that it's easier for things to get buggy, and that's kind of where we got at a certain point in time, and that's what led us to sunsetting, which is a really scary thing to think about if that's what Bungie might lead into again. They did say that they would never be sunsetting content in Destiny 2, but if by adding every new things over and over again, episode after episode, year after year, it leads to just crazy bugs like this that take longer and longer to fix, then I don't know what the future is going to be like for Destiny 2. It's going to be a scary time because obviously you have to keep adding more things to this game. You have to keep adding more and increasing the file size, but in the process you get bugs that take supposedly months to fix at times now. You know, sometimes they can fix a bug in like a day or two, and other times it's taking several months. Hopefully sunsetting never has to come back though. That would be, I think if sunsetting ever had to come back, honestly, just end the game and launch Destiny 3. Truly, like there's just, don't sunset anything ever again. Just end the damn game and launch Destiny 3. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Obviously, big factor here, if not the biggest, is Bungie's layoffs, including a large portion of QA, the undervalued team that catches things like this. I know people on QA, and they're still working hard, but these layoffs have badly hurt the game itself. I'm not blaming those that are still there, the leadership that created the situation in the first place, but the result is the same. We cannot trust this game, these systems. It has given us every reason not to. And so he's trying to be nice, and obviously this isn't meant to, you know, create a witch hunt and like, let's go after the QA department of Bungie and let's all, you know, harass them. It's nothing to do with that. It's just clearly they're doing the best job they can with the smaller team that they have now after all of the recent Bungie layoffs. But it would be really wise for Bungie to actually address this head on, like the Destiny 2 team come out with an article or even just a tweet at the very least and say, hey, we're going to invest more time and attention to QA, even hiring a bigger team, even outsourcing it if you have to, whatever it takes, just to make sure that QA is handled properly inside Destiny 2, because the bugs lately are getting crazy. And these aren't even all of them. This is literally just the biggest ones that stand out. There's so many other ones that are going on currently. You can find them all every time they upload the TWID. They go through a list of all known issues and stuff. But I wanted to bring you a video talking about this because I really think we should put pressure on Bungie to address the QA and the playtesting inside Destiny 2 because there's too many bugs. Let me know what you think about it though down in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.